The award means a great deal to us. The board at Nourish puts a lot of time and effort into making Nourish a successful organization, and this award, selected essentially by our peer group, is very important to us. It has a lot of meaning to us. I'd also like to point out that the board at Nourish is supported by a number of different groups. The board does a fair amount of work as a leadership role, but there are several other groups I'd like to acknowledge. First is our great staff, which is led by Steve McCrossin. Second, we have a large army of volunteers. The volunteers are a lot of folks who get the day-to-day work done for Nourish. Third is we have a large number of partners within the community. I'd like to point out the New Hanover County School System. Second, we have partnerships with a lot of social service agencies, and finally the medical community. And last but not least is just the support that we get overall from the community in Wilmington. Everything from food drives to fundraising to support of our events.
From the perspective of a donor and a volunteer for Nourish NC, I have seen how the board is 100% engaged in the mission of feeding hungry kids in Wilmington. And they are active and they're engaged and they show up and they do the work. They have helped lead the organization to a very strong growth phase, and it has just really been incredible to watch that happen.
You know, the board at Nourish is very passionate about what Nourish NC does and is very much guided by the mission of Nourish NC. As you may know, the mission is to provide healthy food to hungry children right here in New Hanover County. And our hope is that it'll enable these children to succeed in the classroom as well as in their community. The Nourish NC board gets involved in a number of different things. A lot of board members actually serve as volunteers. They come into the warehouse, they sort food, they pack food, they work at food distributions. The board also has a very active role in the major fundraising event of the year, the gala. The board members are responsible for the event planning of that. The board is responsible then for soliciting sponsorships, soliciting donations for a silent auction, and the board also provides their own financial support through sponsorships and other sorts of things. You know, the board, along with everybody else in this area across the country, has had major challenges with the pandemic, and I think the board has provided really good guidance to the organization as we've gone through this. Probably the most important thing was there was a robust contingency plan in place. We knew early on, or Steve McCrossin, our executive director, knew early on there's a chance that the schools may close. And our major distribution vehicle for food is actually through the schools every Friday into kids' backpacks. And once schools closed, we knew that we'd have to find an alternative way of doing that. We're fortunate to have our new facility. Actually, we were able to use that as a contactless drive-through, which opened just 3 days after schools closed in North Carolina. So we really didn't miss a beat in terms of children missing food, because schools were closed. Some other challenges we saw, we had a surge in the number of students coming onto our program. As there was an economic impact from the pandemic, we had more children who had a need. And also we had some challenges actually with our food supply. Just as many of us had, you went to the supermarket and things didn't look the same. So we had to get a bit innovative there in terms of suppliers. Our food drives actually dwindled a bit in the community because of COVID-19, but we were able to come through that with some adjustments to get through it. And I'm happy to report, given all the challenges and the ongoing challenges of the pandemic, I think by being adaptable and innovative, the organization has still managed to make sure that we get food to the children that need it. And I also want to acknowledge, certainly, we've got great support from the community and our donors during this period of time.